Hello, fellow yappers. I'm Ruchi.
And I'm Shalini, and we're your hosts of Binge Yap Repeat.
We're two best friends who spend an embarrassing amount of time binge watching TV, and honestly, we just need to talk about it. If you're here, we're guessing you do too.
Fair warning, this is a spoiler-friendly zone. We will be discussing lots of spoilers. So, if you haven't watched the show yet, hit pause, go binge, and come back when you're ready to yap with us.
And now, it's yap time.
Hello, yappers. Today we have a very special guest. Ruchi is not here because she did not watch this movie. We actually didn't tell her we were watching this movie, so. Oops. But anyway, we changed the plan quite a few times on what we were going to talk about today. But yes, I have a very special guest. She is my roommate. She is my sister. She is the person that stole my only child in the family position from me.
Wow.
Everyone, welcome Anjali. Yay.
Hello, yappers. Great to be here.
Yay. All right, so we watched this movie, Echo Valley, last night.
Yes.
This was a movie that you had found. This movie came out pretty recently, June 6th, on Apple TV. And so, yeah, what made you want to do this movie?
So our Apple TV account is under my account, and so I always get the notifications on my phone from Apple TV, and I was like, oh, new movie. Oh, Julianne Moore. Oh, Sydney Sweeney. And that basically sold me.
Nice. Also, for context, yappers, we love thrillers. We basically, at least once a year, we watch either Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, many scary movies.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So
we love it.
We're all about the thrillers in this household. We also have a third member of the house. Her name is Maui.
Yeah.
And she's sleeping right next to us.
I don't know why she settled down.
Yeah,
she did.
She was barking right before this. Anyway, okay. So, Echo Valley is a brand new Apple TV Plus movie starring Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney. The synopsis is Kate's secluded life is interrupted by her troubled daughter when she shows up frightened and covered in someone's blood. As Kate unravels the truth, she learns how far she'll go for her child. So, Anju, what were your overall thoughts?
I really liked the movie. I guess, so I also read the synopsis before we watched it, and I thought she would be covered in way more blood than she actually was. Like, it was just a little bit on her chest. Anyway, but I really liked it. We love thrillers, and I thought they structured the movie really well. I really appreciated the twist that came. I think they gave us just a little bit to make us think oh, could there be something that's off? And then they hit us with this twist. So I really liked it. I do have some comments on the dialogue and the acting, which we can get into in a bit, but yeah, overall, I really liked it. Maybe it could have even been a series, because I thought some of it was a little rushed. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was gripped pretty much throughout the movie.
Nice. Yeah, I also really liked it. Unlike you, I had no idea what this movie was going to be about going into it, so I didn't know if there was something supernatural. I didn't know if it was going to be a murder movie or there's a murder or something. And so, yeah, when I first saw, I think the first shot of the movie is the body floating up, I was like, oh, is it a ghost movie? Yeah, so I didn't know what it was going to be about, but I agree. I thought it was really well done. There were so many interesting twists and turns, and I got by every single one of them.
Oh my god.
I never saw any of the twists coming. Yeah.
Oh. I guess I had a little bit more context, so maybe that's why I wasn't totally got by it. But yeah, they were surprising still.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. I guess, do you want to start by talking about the acting? What were your thoughts on the overall acting?
So I really liked the acting. Julianne Moore is fantastic. Maybe cut this out. I don't know if it's okay to say, but I think her Botox made it hard for her to do her face acting properly. There were moments where I feel like she should have looked really distressed, and she wasn't. And maybe that was just part of the movie, or maybe it was her Botox.
Like, is she numb to the pain of having to deal with this for
Yeah,
years? Or
it
is
could be
she
that.
physically numb
Yeah.
because Botox?
I don't know. I could see it working in the movie. Like, in the moment, I was like, shouldn't she be more distressed about this? Shouldn't she be, like, panicking when she wasn't? And maybe it was because of the plot of the movie that, like, her daughter has gone through this so many times and she's, like, kind of over it, but, like, has to deal with it. So I guess it could have worked, but
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, like, something feels off.
Can you think of any specific moments?
Okay, there was one moment, it was towards the beginning of the movie, where Sydney Sweeney's home, and then her boyfriend comes, and he's, like, obviously high or not well. And then Sydney Sweeney, or I guess her character's name is Claire, she's like, okay, I'm leaving. And I expected her mom to be like, what? Why are you leaving? He's obviously not in a good state. You shouldn't be with him alone. And she just kind of, like, let him go, and her face was just kind of, like, neutral. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did interpret that as she's just so numb to this because she's been dealing with it for so long. She's just you can clearly tell she's so burnt out from trying to help her
Yeah.
daughter who has this addiction issue. But like she doesn't know how to help her anymore.
Yeah.
So that's how I interpreted it, but maybe the Botox came in the way a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, she's such a good actor that
Yeah.
it was probably just the role that she was playing. And I think, like, as the movie went on and we got more context, I think it made more sense why she was acting like that.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I was thinking, like, okay, if we were in that situation, our mom would have not let us go.
Yeah.
She would have, like, blocked us from the door or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Actually, this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you. If one of us was in Claire's position, say we did accidentally murder someone. So say the Ryan thing was true and we did accidentally murder someone and we came to our mom and told her, like, breaking down in tears, what do you think she would have done?
Ooh, I was thinking about this too. Our parents are all about integrity. Like, our dad always says integrity to us when we're in situations where we need advice from them. So I feel like she might call the cops on us.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely think our dad would call the cops and be like, we need to do this the right way. You know, you can
Okay,
say
yeah.
that he was attacking you, but you have to do this everything above board.
Yeah.
That's his MO. Everything above board, no sneaking around. I don't know if our mom would do the same thing because I think sometimes there's just this motherly instinct that kicks in for
Yeah.
her that overrides everything.
That's true.
You know? Yeah. So I think our mom loves us so much. And obviously our dad does too. But I
Yeah.
think our dad can see past his familial love for us and see the bigger picture. Whereas sometimes I think our mom gets stuck in like, I must do whatever it takes to protect my daughter.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. Although I feel like our parents would then talk about it and our dad might convince our mom to
Yeah.
do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. She would be really conflicted and be like, no, but what about her future?
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
But yeah, she would probably like drive us to the police station and make sure we have warm clothes and make sure we're well fed.
Yeah.
Oh, mama.
I guess just a question about the film. If I was Kate in that situation, I think I would have been like, let's plead self-defense or let's claim self-defense,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because her daughter said that she hit this guy over the head with a rock.
Do you think that's not fair? Because she said he was coming at her
Yeah.
and like he was attacking her.
That's true. I feel like that's the more logical route to go down.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking this body, which you haven't even seen the body, it's wrapped up,
I know.
and throwing it in a lake
Literally.
where everybody swims.
Yeah, everybody swims all the time. Okay, also about the body that was wrapped in the car. Yeah. Why didn't she look at the face of the body?
Yeah.
That would have been the first thing I would do. Or maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would blindly trust my daughter.
Yeah,
This
maybe
is-
in like the panic of the moment, she was just like, oh, have to like figure this out, protect my daughter.
Yeah. But then, why didn't she question how her daughter wrapped the body, put it in the
Yeah.
car, where she got these materials from?
Yes.
Like, there were no questions.
Oh my God. That was the first little clue for me that, oh, there's something else going on here. So I remember when we were watching, we were trying not to talk to each other as much as possible.
Yeah.
But we were both like, how did she wrap this body?
Yeah.
And like, at that point, it was either just this movie was not thought out very well, or there was a twist. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, maybe she was working with someone.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely thought it was just a plot hole. Okay. Oh. If you heard that, yappers, that was our dog Maui just heaving a really loud sigh.
She's done nothing today.
Okay. Did you have any thoughts on who the body was at any point in the movie? Either the first, I guess it's the first shot of the movie, or when you find out it's not Ryan. What were your thoughts?
I thought it would be a more integral character to the story, to be honest. It ended up being some kid that OD'd. I thought it would be a more integral person to the story, like the guy who plays Bill Weasley. I thought it might be him, and then when I saw him, I was like, okay, who is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like a little bit of a letdown for me. I think it worked in the end, but I think it would have made the story... Okay, I think if this was made into a TV show where they could flesh out the stories more and like include this guy in a couple episodes to show that like they are getting people hooked on drugs and then they kill this person, I think that would have been way more impactful than just like, oh yeah, this guy that we've never seen before is dead.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also thought it was Bill Weasley. Actually, wait, what's his real name? Domhnall Gleeson. Domhnall?
Yeah,
Oh.
however you pronounce it in an Irish accent.
Yeah. Please, Irish yappers, let us know how to pronounce this name. So I did think it was him, and then I was confused, and then I was like, well, the only other man we've seen in this movie is the captain.
True!
The captain being Kate's ex-husband, Claire's dad, played by Kyle MacLachlan. And we're calling him the captain because that was his character's name in How I Met Your Mother.
As soon as he came on screen, we were like, the captain!
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh shoot, we shouldn't talk to each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I thought it was the captain, and then I was like, whoa, where is this story going?
Did you ever think it could be a woman?
No, because I think the way they wrapped it, it made it pretty clear it was a dude. Like the legs, because we kind of saw the jeans and the shoes and like the shape of the body. I could tell it was a man.
Yeah, I also never thought it was a woman, but yeah. Since
Yeah.
we didn't see the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about other people's acting too.
Oh, okay.
Sydney Sweeney. This was the first thing I've seen her in where she was not hypersexualized, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then also with her acting throughout the movie, I was like, I feel like she's overacting. Like, she's got down the crying face super well. She did that really well. But then all of her, like, speaking moments, she was just, like, panicky. And I was like, oh, like, is this just bad acting? But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, if there's a drug addict and they're, like, desperate for money or drugs or any sort of peace in their life, maybe they would act like that. And so, yeah, I think she did a really great job.
Yeah, I agree. I thought so too. I had no complaints about her acting. I was really impressed, actually. And it was also the first thing I've seen her in where she's not just this flirtatious, young, kind of like has men wrapped around her finger kind of vibe, which, yeah, I guess I've seen her in The White Lotus and Anyone But You.
Yeah. And she was in Euphoria, I think.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's where I saw her first, was in
okay.
Euphoria. And so, yeah, I thought this was a really cool role for her to break out from that box that Hollywood has put her in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was really fun to watch her. Yeah.
I was impressed. Because I feel like her acting and everything else I've seen is very much like she's playing the same character in everything. I haven't seen Euphoria, so I don't know what her character was like there. But definitely in White Lotus and Anyone But You, she was just playing the same person. And this character was so different, and I was really curious how she would do in a thriller. And yeah, I thought she did really well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, her character in Euphoria is a little bit different. Similarly sexual. But she in Euphoria plays this like super insecure girl with an older sister who's really nerdy. And so she like thinks she's way cooler than her sister, but like also is really insecure and just like wants male attention all the time. That's kind of her vibe in Euphoria.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still her character centered around the male gaze.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Another actor in this movie that we haven't talked about yet is Aunt Petunia.
Yes.
Her name is Fiona Shaw. She is an Irish film and theater actress. Of course, plays Aunt Petunia in the Harry Potter movies. Also, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. We hate
Primarily, fuck J.K. Rowling. But also, yeah, Fiona Shaw, what a treasure. I love her so much.
Me too. She always plays the side character that somehow knows everything.
Yeah.
Because, like, Aunt Petunia knew about her sister and knew how she died. And then her character in Bad Sisters, what was her name?
Angelica Collins.
Angelica Collins, of course. Her character, Angelica Collins, also was a side character that just knew everything. And now she's playing the same person again. Although she is very likable in this movie.
Yeah.
Compared to her other roles.
Yeah, she was so lovable.
I love that Kate, the main character, just had her little lesbian farming community. I thought that was so adorable. Also, happy Pride.
It's Pride Month, bitches. Okay, so we kind of talked about what we would have done in Kate's position if our daughter came to us with that. What would you have done in Kate's situation before any of this happened? Just at the beginning of the movie, when Claire shows up again and is like, oh yeah, I've left Ryan, like he sucks, but I do need a new phone, blah, blah, blah. And then she says, you know, like she's gonna go camping with Ryan. How would you have handled that situation?
Yeah, good question. I am not a mother, so my answer might change when I do become a mother. But thinking from our mom's perspective, I think I would have been like, okay, I'll get this for you, but let's figure out a long-term plan. Like she mentioned in the movie, like, oh, there's a community college right here. Maybe you could check that out. I would have been like, hey, this should be your next step. Let's figure out how we can get you to a stable place. I think she was maybe a little too trusting in her daughter. Also, when she said she was going camping with this guy, I would have been like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, he is part of the reason you're in this mess. You are not going with him.
Yeah, I think I would have similarly been more harsh than Kate was.
Yeah.
I think I would have maybe taken it a step further and been like, you're not getting your own phone until you've had a stable life for a few months or something. Or like, if you pass your community college classes, then I'll get you a new phone or something.
Yeah.
Or just do something to incentivize her to build her life again.
True, I
Yeah.
guess, like, if you give everything she wants and then tell her you're doing this, she has no reason to do it.
Right, right. And like, obviously her mind is infected with her addiction. And so
Yeah.
she's not thinking straight. She's looking for the quickest path to using always.
Yes.
And so just something to untrain that. I don't know. I'm honestly thinking in terms of like dog training where like, how do you incentivize the right behavior? But I don't know if that works.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, I think I would also want her to stay with me. I guess I don't really know the backstory of their relationship.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't even know why she came home in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I don't know. It kind of seemed like from the first conversation that Kate had with her ex-husband that Claire is kind of in and out, has a problem, and then it
Okay.
seems like Claire's dad doesn't think that Kate is enforcing boundaries well enough, and so it sounds like Kate just kind of like lets her come and go as she
Okay.
pleases, so she's just like set this precedent that Claire can come whenever.
I see. Okay. Well, I mean, seeing how happy Kate was when Claire did come home, I think if I were in Kate's position, I would have been like, you're going to stay with me for like the next 6 months and we're going to get you enrolled into community college. I will drive you to class and pick you up, get you into another recovery program. And yeah, just like bring more structure to her life because that's clearly what she needs.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So let's talk about the climax of the movie where Jackie comes to Kate and basically blackmails her and says that I guess his incentive is he knows that Kate has paid in the past, so she probably has more money, and he knows about the body, so he's using that against her to get more money. But at that point, it wasn't really connected to Claire or Ryan anymore, right?
Yeah, I think so. He just wanted more money for himself.
Okay, so he tells her he wants more money, so then she thinks of the idea to burn down her barn, get the insurance money, give it to him. Meanwhile, she started scheming with Aunt Petunia. Angelica Collins. No, what's her real name?
What's her name?
Fiona Shaw.
That's the actress's name.
Yeah.
Right?
What was her character's name? Jesse Oliver. I don't know if they ever say her name.
Yeah, I never got that.
Yeah. She calls her Jess. Oh, no. Someone calls her Les.
Yeah.
So she starts scheming with her neighbor Les, played by Fiona Shaw, aka Aunt Petunia, aka Angelica Collins.
I did think it was Les because I thought it was funny that it was so close to lesbian.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, maybe it is Les.
Okay.
Call her Les.
And she remembers that there was this old man, Granderson, that burned down his barn to get insurance money, but his one flaw was that he accidentally left a piece of the flare. So then she decides to do the same thing. When this happened, when the police are investigating, they find bank statements that showed that she paid Jackie $2,500 as a paycheck.
Yeah.
When and how did she do that?
And how did he not notice?
Yeah. Did she fake the bank statements? Or, because that's verifiable, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that is a bit of a plot hole. Because everything happens so quickly, right?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, did she go back and retroactively, like, try to backdate a transfer? Or did she just forge bank statements and she never actually paid him anything? I don't know.
I feel like the detectives would have figured out if it was fake, right?
Yeah, right? But also, they didn't look into her texts with her daughter.
True.
Which would have said everything. Her daughter was like, Mom, I'm so sorry. Will you ever forgive me? His name is Graham Kaminsky or whatever. Greg Kaminsky.
Wait, yeah. Also, like, this is the same exact crime that someone else committed, so would they not think to, like, think about that?
Right, they'd be like, you knew old man Granderson.
You have a shirt with the name on it.
You didn't think anything is odd about this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very convenient.
That was convenient.
But also, he's a pretty easy suspect because he's literally a drug dealer, like, has hurt many people in the past, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Clearly is not new in this business, so probably has quite a prior record.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, we need look no further.
Yeah. And she's this sad lady that lost her wife 9 months ago or something, so there's no way she could do this.
Right. An upstanding member of society, a part of our community for generations.
Yeah. I thought it was super clever that she intentionally asked one of her clients to come pick up the saddlebag. I did not catch that until the very end.
Me too.
That was really smart.
That was so smart. So at that point, she was already scheming with Les.
I guess so. Yeah.
Who would you say is the villain of Echo Valley?
Ooh. Drugs.
Oh, okay. Good answer.
Yeah. If drugs weren't in the picture, none of this would have happened.
True.
Okay, but for a person as a villain, probably Jackie. Yeah. Like, he was just the character that did not have any redeeming qualities about him. So I think it's just easy to see him as the pure villain.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Claire, she is Kate's daughter. Like, they show her in a loving light in some scenes where she's like hugging her and stuff. Her boyfriend also clearly is like struggling, and I think they humanize him a bit more with like the black eye and stuff. But yeah, Jackie is just, they just show him as pure evil.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess Jackie did this to a stranger, but Claire did this to her mom. Does that change your answer?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Claire's just, she has struggled a lot in her life, and I have some empathy for her. And she was clearly conflicted, like texting her mom, "I'm so sorry, this is his name," incriminating herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have sympathy for her.
That's fair. That's fair. I was gonna say it's Claire because I couldn't get over that one text that she sent Ryan that was like, "I can make my mom do anything." I was like, this ungrateful bitch.
That's true.
I was so angry for Kate at that point. Also, when she bit her mom.
That was so sad.
So sad.
Yeah, that was so tough to watch.
Oh, but
I'd like to think that it was just in her like withdrawal, desperation.
yeah.
And I'd like to think she's a good person, but she was just like caught up with the wrong people.
Yeah.
But maybe this is also pretty privilege. I don't know. If she was like super ugly, maybe I would think differently.
Domhnall Gleeson definitely doesn't have pretty privilege.
Oh shit.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to talk about the dialogue a little bit more.
Oh.
Okay, so I actually started thinking about this after listening to the Prestige podcast about Severance, where they were talking about how it's really cool in a scene where you don't totally know what's going on, but they like give you information through like people acting and like unspoken scenes, and then you like pick up on what's going on. And I thought, like, ever since I listened to the Prestige podcast talk about that, I've like tried to look out for it in other things I watch.
Can you give an example of that in Severance, maybe?
Yeah, like maybe when, okay, for example, in the Gemma episode, when Mark is taking apart this crib and he's super frustrated, you can tell what's going on. He didn't have to say, "I'm so frustrated and I'm angry and I'm sad." You could just tell by his acting. I try to look out for those sorts of things, like, okay, what is being said and what's being shown. And I thought in this movie, I think they did say some things that didn't totally need to be said. For example, Kate bought Claire a bunch of Narcan kits, and like obviously it was to make sure Claire doesn't OD, but then Kate said, "Just so you don't OD like last time." I thought that was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then there was another moment where Kate was in the barn with Les, and she was like, she like referred to her turning lesbian at some point, or like coming out as lesbian. That also wasn't really necessary. I got that, and I feel like the audience would have gotten that by everything that they've shown so far. So I thought those were a couple weak moments. Those are the only two examples I can think of, but I don't know. Ever since I listened to that podcast, I like look out for it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, you're not giving the audience enough credit of picking up on these images and these things that you're showing us and putting them together. You have to spell it out for us. Yeah.
I'm the type of audience member where I like piecing things together and figuring it out myself. And then when she said in the barn, like, my lesbo moment, I was like, okay, so
Yeah.
Yep, I'm right. So
That's a really good point.
yeah, I think the dialogue could have been better.
A little crisper.
Yeah. And yeah, there were even some scenes between Kate and Claire where they were just like saying the obvious. It didn't need to be said. That's like one of my few critiques.
I'm trying to think how they could have done that Narcan scene better. I think either she could have just, honestly, she could have just put down the box and been like, "Take this with you."
Yeah.
Everyone
could've been it.
everyone knew what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or she could have been like, "Because of last time," or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's so much crisper.
Yeah, and it's more impactful, and then the audience is like, okay.
Yeah. Instead of, "Here is some Narcan so that you don't overdose, just like last time."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah, good point.
I had some questions for you.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, actually just one. I was reading an article about this, and the article said this movie touches on if love makes you stronger or weaker. Do you think Kate's love for Claire made her stronger or weaker?
I think in the end, they showed that it did make her stronger, but I do think the pattern of, I think this actually might have been Kate's arc, going from love is making her weak to love is making her strong. Because it started with her ex-husband being like, you're not strict enough with her, she needs help, blah, blah, blah. So it's clear that her love for her daughter is weakening her strong parenting skills of like forcing her daughter into doing something. But I think the second Claire came in with the bloody shirt and was like, Mom, I need help, I feel like Kate suddenly turned strong, and her love for her daughter really made her so strong in that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think it was a cool journey to see that happen. And I also love stories from a mom's perspective where you can just see the love for her daughter. And yeah, I thought Julianne Moore did fantastic with that.
Yeah. My last question for you, what does the title Echo Valley mean to you after watching this film?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Okay, I guess I can share what I thought it meant to me. I think, to me, when I heard the name Echo Valley and then we saw the visual of the lake, I thought, maybe this is really out there, but I thought of how, like, if you drop something in a pond, it, like, ripples out and has this, like, ripply, echoey effect. And that's what I felt like Claire coming back to her mom with the bloody shirt. I felt like that was the drop in the pond, and everything else was an echo. It's like Kate disposes of the body. Jackie comes, knows about the body.
Yeah.
They burn down the barn, but then turns out it was all a scheme. Like, I thought all of that, everything was an echo of that one moment when Claire comes back to her mom.
I like that. Yeah. Good insight. I did not think that deep. Oh, okay. Remember in the beginning of the movie, Claire was talking about how she always thought there was a ghost in the lake named Aurora who was a mermaid or something?
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna get tied in the end.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, okay, could it be Kate was the mermaid and she was swimming down to recover this body? But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a stretch. I wish they tied that together.
Yeah, that's also why I thought it was going to be a ghost movie, because I kept talking about ghosts.
Oh, yeah. When we were watching and she said that, you were like, oh. And I was like...
Yeah, I definitely thought that was going to play some sort of part in the movie. My one other thing was that I wrote down, why did she Google his name?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The second when Claire texted her and was like, his name is Greg Kaminsky. And the first thing this dumbass woman does is Google Greg Kaminsky.
Not even incognito.
No.
Just straight on her browser.
Browser history.
Like, girl.
This is tied to your entire identity now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. But then I guess she did mention that she met him. So maybe it's plausible that she Googled him after meeting him.
But do you think she was thinking that far?
Not when she Googled him for sure. I think that's just lucky.
Yeah, she got lucky.
But maybe that's part of the reason why she mentioned to the cops that she had met Greg Kaminsky.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe not, but
yeah. Yeah, I was like, that is risky. Yeah. You're gonna get caught.
I couldn't even hold it in. Like, I'm pretty sure I yelled that out when we were watching the movie. I was like, why did she go?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. What would you rate this movie?
I would say, like, maybe 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the twists and turns. And I think it was a great movie that you watch on your TV, like just another Apple TV movie that they released. It's definitely not a movie I would want to see in theaters, because I think there's just stuff that could have been cleaned up and been more cinematic and stuff. But that all being said, I had a really great time watching it. So yeah. I think 7.
Nice. Yeah, I was also thinking 7. I agree. It was enjoyable to watch. Such a fun movie to watch at home with friends, you know, but I don't think it's by any means a masterpiece. It was just like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our next segment that we usually do is called Binge in Progress. So, Anju, what are you binging these days?
Let's see. Well, because the Survivor 50 cast was released, we've both been watching old seasons. So we're currently watching Survivor 20, Heroes versus Villains. And then kind of by myself in my room at night, I've just been watching old movies. So I just watched the Lizzie McGuire movie again.
Nice. How did it hold up?
It held up pretty well. I mean, obviously it's like a Disney movie, so it's not gonna be great. But I found it very comforting to watch. Like, I didn't realize how well I knew all of the songs in that movie. And when one came up like, Volare.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my childhood.
That soundtrack was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story holds up too.
Nice.
And then I just watched The Black Klansman again. I kind of have this list of movies that I've just been going through.
Very nice.
So not really TV shows, but
Okay.
lots of movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I haven't been watching anything besides the Survivor 20 is the season that we're watching. Then I talked about this on the last episode, but I've also been watching the Oceangate documentary.
I finished that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you learn any new stuff?
Yeah, it was interesting to hear the employee's perspective because I don't think we really got that in the news too much. Like, they mentioned a whistleblower, but they actually interviewed the whistleblower in this documentary. And it's some crazy stuff that they were doing.
Oh, okay. I should keep going then because I think I'm like 45 minutes in, but my takeaway from the first 45 minutes is like, this is everything I knew from TikTok already.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe there was more on TikTok than what I saw because I'm not on TikTok. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting. And as an engineer, I'm like, how could you possibly be okay with anything going? I mean, people were not okay with what was going on, and a lot of people quit. But I'm like, as a CEO, like, your head is so far up your ass. How could you ever think this would be okay?
I know. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah. It's a good doc, though. Also, I hope we sound different enough that people know who's talking.
Oh, yeah. Yappers, can you tell the difference between our voices?
Because I was thinking about this. Your voice is the voice I hear the most in my life because we live together. And then every Tuesday and Thursday, I listen to your voice on Binge Yap Repeat on my commute to and from work.
So basically, I'm always in your ear.
Pretty much. Yeah. So I think my voice has converged to yours. Quite a bit.
Interesting. Well, yeah. Yappers, let us know if you can tell the difference between us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for yapping with us.
That's not how I say it.
Thanks for yapping with us. If you loved this episode, have some hot takes we missed, or if you've got a show you're dying for us to binge next, follow us on socials. We're at Binge Yap Repeat.
Until next time, happy binging!